Some San Miguel County police officers will now be carrying tasers. This comes from a donation of old tasers once used by the Santa Fe Sheriff's Department. They received new tasers built with cameras attached to them. Sheriff Greg Solano says the new tasers were purchased by a federal grant.
Well, the great thing about the new tasers is that they have a video camera built in. Whenever the taser is switched from safe to on, the video camera immediately starts recording, and it records up to 15 minutes of video. So they can, we can record when we're telling the suspects what we want them to do. It will record whether they comply or not. And then when they are tased, a lot of times there is discrepancies between what the suspect says happened and what the officer says happened. And by video recording the events, we're able to show exactly what happened for future courts or any kind of lawsuits.
Solano says that just showing the suspect a taser can help defuse a situation.
Well, tasers have been in use for many years, even prior to the sheriff's office using them. They have been shown to be quite effective. And as I said, many times just the display, whenever an officer is going to use a taser, they pull it out, turn it on, and a red dot comes on, and then they warn the person that they have a taser and for them to comply. And usually just the threat of the use of taser is enough to ensure compliance. But when I came into office, all we basically had was a baton and a firearm. So that meant that if you had to use force on someone, that the force was either, for lack of a better word, hitting them, beating them with a baton, or shooting them. And I went out to look for less lethal weapons that we could use. And so since I became sheriff, we started using both pepper spray and tasers, which are both less lethal weapons, and I felt gave our officers some options rather than having to immediately just go to shooting someone.
Tasers have been used in the department since 2004. Sheriff Solano says that since then, they haven't had any deaths or lawsuits as a result. The officers have been recently retrained to use the new tasers.
The officers receive extensive training. It is approximately, I believe, an 8-hour course that they go through, and then they are recertified with the taser every year. We have a person within the sheriff's office who's in charge of keeping up to date with any changes in the training, and also looking at new developments in tasers, and those are incorporated into the retraining that comes out every year.
Sheriff Solano has been tasered himself. He describes it as uncomfortable.
And I've been tased myself. In fact, I was the first person tased when we got the new tasers. What happens is it feels a lot like if you accidentally shock yourself with an outlet or a lamp that has a short. I think everybody's had that happen. It feels pretty much like that, but your body becomes stiff and immobile. You're unable to move, and basically you fall to the ground because you cannot keep your balance. It's lasts from 3 to 5 seconds, depending on how long the officer sets it for. If they hold it for the full 5 seconds, or they can stop it in 3 seconds. And it's very effective, but it isn't. I won't describe it as pain. I kind of describe it as uncomfortable. Tasers are very effective, work very well, and I believe they save a lot of lives, not only officers' lives, but they save a lot of suspects' lives.
Sheriff Greg Solano from the Santa Fe Sheriff's Department. For KSFR News, this is Rachel Kennedy.